coming up, Molly. His name is Boots Ennis. This brother's special. You don't want to go in the ring against after that beating. Molly, it was so bad. I swear to y'all, I am not exaggerating.
Official prediction if that fight happens.
Knockout. Nasty knockout. Nasty knockout.
By who?
I think Boots knocks Xander out in within 5.
So not a systematic breakdown? You talking about one-shot deal?
I mean, you know, Boots with combination together, but that's going to be easy. And again, if Boots beat him, will he get credit?
Sure, he's a unified champion in the division.
That don't mean nothing. Boots got so many haters, so many people that don't like Boots. But, you know, it's going to...
Boots, as far as the notoriety, obviously what's on the line, the belts that's on the line and all that, because people are going to give him his credit for this fight, but I don't think it's going to be as close as people might think it would be. I already had Boots beating him in like 8 or 9, but I don't think it'll last that long. I don't. I think I got Boots in 6 if Zayas comes out with the same strategy that he's come out with in almost every fight that he's fought. He got to get off the ball of that left foot if he think he's going to beat Boots, because he's going to see that rhythm, he's going to see that pattern, and he's going to start.
Xander recently said, Boots, and this is a quote, that you, quote, eat every straight punch and every hook. What do you think about that criticism from Xander of your defense?
Did y'all watch Xander?
Yeah, of course.
Did y'all watch Xander? He get hit a lot. He get hit a lot, man. I don't know what like these narratives that everybody keeps saying I get hit this, that, and the third. I still get hit less than everybody's favorite fighter in a street like that. But these guys want to put they got to find something to talk about, you know, because when you great at everything, you know, they just pick one thing, you know. Like I said, he gonna see.
Stephen A. Smith sent shockwaves through the boxing world with a bold and unexpected take that immediately grabbed headlines. Speaking on national television, he didn't hesitate to call Xander Zayas a rare, generational-level talent, someone who possesses the exact combination of skill, mentality, and physical attributes needed to pull off a massive upset. According to him, this is not just another fight, it's a moment that could completely reshape the narrative of an entire division. The stakes surrounding this matchup are incredibly high. On one side, you have Jaron Ennis, a fighter widely regarded as one of the most avoided and feared names in boxing, the so-called boogeyman. On the other side stands a 23-year-old unified champion who is still early in his career but already stepping into the biggest challenge imaginable. Smith emphasized that if Ennis were to lose this fight, it wouldn't just be a defeat. It would instantly shatter the aura that has been built around him for years.
Yeah, okay, you guys turning into the middle and facing off again in 3, 2, 1, face off. Hold that, 10 seconds. Come on in. Okay, switching sides.
The physical reality of this fight became impossible to ignore during the official press conference in New York City. When both fighters stood face-to-face under the lights, fans and analysts quickly noticed something striking: Zayas looked significantly bigger. That moment alone sparked serious discussions across gyms and training camps. Zayas' team has been pushing a strong narrative that Ennis has benefited throughout his career from physical advantages, often entering the ring as the naturally bigger man. However, that advantage may not exist this time. Reports suggest that Zayas walks around at nearly 190 pounds outside of camp, making him a true natural super welterweight. For the first time, Ennis could be facing an opponent who matches or even exceeds him physically. Someone who cannot be easily pushed back or dominated with strength alone.
Around at a fight night.
You about 180 right now. You about 180. Right now.
Let's keep it about 180 right now. Let's keep it at that.
You bigger than that? Damn.
180.
Cruiserweights in there. All right, let's talk about this fight, man. I do feel Jaron is a very talented fighter. I thought he was a big 147-pounder, so he still have decent size. But you're bigger than him.
Yeah.
Like in stature. Without giving too much up, what worries you about him? Like, what do you have to be concerned with in the ring?
His speed, and his IQ. I gotta always be 10 steps ahead of him. I can't give him no space. I can give him no chance. if he sees a chance, he's gonna take advantage of it. I mean, he's a good fighter. He knows how to read another fighter. I mean, we've seen it throughout his career. So he knows how to read fights. He knows how to read a fighter, but he's never been uncomfortable either.
People have been, this is what I've been hearing, right, for some experts off the record, saying that Jaron gets hit, right? We all seen him get hit in fights, but people like to say, well, it's because he's comfortable in there getting hit with those guys. He's a better defensive fighter than that, right? But he does get hit at fights.
And that's what I say.
So people are saying, a lot of people are starting to say this fight is a lot more interesting than people think. Xander's a big guy at this weight class. When you watch those fights and see him get hit, do you think to yourself, like, wow, there's so much vulnerability there. Like, I know exactly what to do this.
That's what I think of myself. He better not get hit because, again, he's never been uncomfortable. He's been hit, but he's been okay. Like, I can still, he rolls with those punches.
Right.
You know, every time he gets hit flush, you can see it. He gets uncomfortable, but then he gets back to.
Right.
And these guys, they don't have the IQ. They don't have the technique to keep building on that, right? I do, and you guys have seen it. I build on everything. On everything I do is just something added extra to that layer. And there's no fights that you can tell me I haven't seen nothing new from you. There's always something that I get better at. There's something that I improve at. And this fight, I will continue to do that. Again, it's easy to be there and be comfortable with all these guys and be comfortable getting hit. But what when you're not? Well, how is your brain gonna tolerate that? How is your brain gonna react to that? It's not. It'll be too late.
I guess there's no...
Behind the scenes, the story becomes even more dramatic. Before the fight was officially signed, there were reportedly serious concerns within the promotional side of things. Legendary promoter Bob Arum and his team initially had no intention of making such a dangerous fight at this stage of Zayas' career. The original plan was far more cautious, gradually building Zayas into a superstar through safer title defenses in major venues like New York and Puerto Rico. But instead of following that path, Zayas took control of his own destiny. He rejected the safe route, stepped outside the protective structure built around him, and demanded the toughest opponent available. That decision alone changed everything.
What do you feel like is the difference between champion Zayas, right? Like the champion and then the prospect. Is there a difference, or you kind of
a little bit more confidence? You get that, a little bit more experience. You get that confidence. You know you go 12 rounds. You know you could look good for 12 rounds. You get a little bit more like, you know, pepper in your step. Kind of like.
Well, this fight, like you said, this is the biggest. You know, everybody's talking about this fight. This is a huge fight here. One is, first of all, how did this come about, right? Because, you know, a lot of people are giving you credit, like, yo, you fighting the boogeyman, right? A lot of people calling him a boogeyman. How did the fight actually, like, come about?
Man, I feel like this is what boxing is all about. You gotta fight the best. I say I'm the best. He says he's the best. We're the best fighters out 54. Let's see who's really the best. And he came pretty easy. Obviously, he had a negotiation period with Virgil Ortiz. So after my fight, we were looking at other opponents, Josh Kelly being one of them. Sent out a couple notes, a couple letters to his team. Never got a response back. Then obviously we heard that the fight with Virgil fell through because of Virgil's legal things with his company. And we jumped right on it. We're like, hey, we won the fight. Same thing, same split, same everything. We just, same deal. Just make it happen. And they went to Boots' team and they said yes, and we were already obviously in. So it's an easy negotiation period, I'll say.
That's crazy because I guess coming off of, as fans, looking at what happened with Virgil and Boots, we just feeling like, damn, this is going to be something hard to make, right? But you're just saying it's easy. Bro.
Man, to be honest, when you want to be great, it's easy to do it. You just got to go and do it. It's when you put too many buts and no, but this, no, but that, no, but it got to be. And that's too many excuses. Let's make the fight happen. He's from Philly. I'm from Puerto Rico. We both sell in the East Coast. We have proved that we both sell in the East Coast. So why not make it happen here?
This bold move has created a deep divide within the boxing industry. Some insiders see it as a clear sign of supreme confidence, a young fighter who truly believes in his abilities and is willing to prove it against the best. Others, however, view it as a potentially dangerous gamble, arguing that taking such a high-risk fight so early could derail what was shaping up to be a carefully managed and highly profitable career. The debate continues to grow, with opinions split between those who admire the courage and those who fear the consequences.
I don't know if it's, I mean, definitely top ranking. They're definitely, capable of doing something like that, where if a fighter's contract is in and they go, hey, go do what it is that you're gonna do. But when I think about Xander Zayas, you got to give them credit. You got to give them credit. You got to feel like they feel that they see something in Jaron Ennis that maybe we are not seeing, right? Or maybe they're seeing something in their own capabilities that we're not necessarily seeing that will mesh well or give them some type of advantage as it relates to Jaron Ennis. So it's an interesting dynamic. I think right now I got to go back and look at more Xander Zayas fights. I've seen a couple of them. I haven't seen like every fight that he's been in before I really make a decision. But right now he feels like a sacrificial lamb to me. I kind of see him like a Villa. Maybe a little bit more athletic than a Villa, in my opinion, just based off what I've seen. But I got to go back and really break him down and really look at him. Kudos to both fighters. Boots has proven that he wants to fight all the champions at 154. If he is successful in this fight, and I think he will be, then I want to see him in the ring with the towering inferno, Sebastian Fundora. That would be an interesting fight, according to somebody who is no longer in the sport. They say that he's beatable, but they didn't fight him. So anyway,
pew 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 pew.
It's an interesting dynamic, man. I'm impressed with the fight. I want to see what ends up happening between these two fighters, and hopefully.
While many fans were disappointed when the anticipated Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz Jr. fight fell apart, some experts believe this new matchup presents an even more complex challenge. Trainer Greg Hackett brought attention to a key tactical factor, suggesting that Zayas may actually be a more difficult opponent for Ennis than Ortiz would have been. Unlike a straightforward pressure fighter, Zayas offers a wide range of skills. He can box from a distance with precision and control, then suddenly switch gears and deliver powerful, calculated attacks to the body at close range. This versatility makes him unpredictable, forcing opponents to constantly adjust.
So we're going to start off with Xander. If Xander's green, if Xander isn't ready, how did he get to this point?
You saying if he's those things that people saying?
Like I see him in the comments, he's green, he isn't ready, he isn't elite, he hasn't faced anybody.
Yeah.
How did he get to this point? Because you don't become unified champion by accident.
Well, you know what people do? They say matchmaking. No, matchmaking matters, but you still got to fight. Xander fought to get his way here. He did what he had to do. He beat who he needed to beat, and I like him. Tellez lost to Abbas, he beat Abbas. How can we be mad about that? We didn't know Abbas at all, but that's Tellez's fault. Now we know Abbas because of Tellez.
As far as Boots goes, you hear he's overhyped. He's king tune-up, bum basher.
Yeah.
As soon as he faces a real boxer, they're going to outbox him, all the defensive flaws.
Yeah.
So the question I got for you is that if he has all of these flaws, why hasn't anybody been able to capitalize on him?
Because don't nobody work like him. That's the truth. I ain't seen a fighter yet. That worked like Boots Ennis. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't seen a fighter yet that worked like that. That put that pain in like that. I ain't seen it. I know it's fighters that work hard, but I'm talking about that work like that. Consistency. I ain't seen it. Really putting that pain in. And I'm saying really grinding it out. You know what I mean? I ain't seen it.
That unpredictability is what makes Zayas such a dangerous opponent. Hackett described him as a ticking time bomb, a fighter who can change the dynamics of a fight at any moment. This introduces a level of complexity that Ennis hasn't necessarily faced before in his professional career. It's not just about power or speed anymore, it's about adaptability, timing, and the ability to read and react under pressure. The entire geometry of the fight shifts because of this.
Yeah. Well, listen, the odds have already came out. You're the underdog as far as the betting is concerned.
Yeah.
And people, just fans, pundits, everybody's like, yo, this might be too early for Xander, right? Like, what do you feel when people are saying it might be too early?
Man, to be great, again, you just gotta do it. Believe in yourself. I believe in myself. I know what I can do in that ring. He's a man just like me. He breathes just like I breathe. He has two hands just like I have two hands. It's fair game.
Yeah.
When it comes to fight night, I'm just gonna be 10 steps ahead of him, man. And the experience, the age, none of that is gonna matter when he has no answer, when he can't find any answers for me that night.
Yeah. So now, all right, I would say, because like I said, people looking at Boots like a boogeyman. Do you look at him like that? Like, is he like, oh, this is the guy in the division that's like a scary...
I mean, I'm the guy in the division. I'm the only one that has 2 belts.
Yeah.
So, people can perceive him and people can see him as however they want to see him. At the end of the day, we got to step in that ring and see who's the best, who's the boogeyman.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm not scared of nobody. He's a man just like I am. He breathes just like I breathe. The only man that I'm scared of is above me. Everybody else, they're gonna have to get the smoke.
As expected, opinions from boxing's elite figures are sharply divided. Terrence Crawford and respected trainer Reggie have publicly expressed concern about Zayas taking such a massive leap in competition. While they respect his ambition, they worry that he may be stepping into a situation that could be too much, too soon. From their perspective, Ennis represents a level of danger that even experienced fighters approach with caution.
That's a tough fight, especially for Xander at this point in his career, but it shows his heart and his confidence, that he has in himself, and he's ready to go make history for his country, and he's going to do real well in that fight. I just think, right now, it's a little bit too early.
Trainer Reggie didn't hold back in his assessment, describing Zayas as still being in the early stages of his development. He warned that rushing into a fight of this magnitude could lead to a harsh and potentially damaging lesson. However, not everyone agrees. Roy Jones Jr. offered a completely different viewpoint. He dismissed the idea that Zayas is unprepared, instead describing him as a highly intelligent and composed fighter who is far more mature than his age suggests. According to Jones, Zayas isn't stepping into danger blindly, he's calculated, focused, and ready.
It was you having sparred with Canelo when he was getting ready for Terrence Crawford. What was that like?
It was a great thing. I went out there, as everybody knows, I'm moving up to 154, so why not go out there and, put my skills against, a 168 pounder and see how I do. It was a great thing. A great experience. I went out there for my first 2 weeks of camp. Got in great shape. For my upcoming fight for this Saturday, and it was a great time. I enjoyed myself.
Philly Boots, what's up, brother? Happy to see you.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm just saying, it's always good. I've been waiting for this interview. You haven't been on here. We've been looking for you, but to piggyback off you real quick. When you was training out there with Canelo and camp with him, right, to get him ready for the fight, did you know that Crawford would dominate him like that? Because you guys are kind of similar. People like to say y'all switch hit. Because you feel that it might be a good night for Bud, this fall training against Canelo and seeing how he looked in camp?
I didn't get to see. I didn't watch it or anything, but that was a great victory for Terrence Bud Crawford. He did a historical thing for him and his family and his team, and he did a good job. He made a big statement.
Yeah, Boots, Mike Coppinger here. Obviously, a lot of people wanted to see you versus Terrence Crawford. We're not going to get that fight. But now that you're at 54.
Fans, meanwhile, are embracing this fight for entirely different reasons. Many see it as a refreshing break from the politics that often dominate boxing. Across social media and forums, this matchup is being celebrated as a people's main event, a fight that happened because both fighters genuinely wanted it, rather than because of complicated negotiations or promotional delays. There's a growing sense that fans are tired of champions avoiding risks and holding on to titles without facing real challenges. In that context, this fight represents something pure competition at its highest level.
Yeah, but that's what you want. Guys that aren't afraid of the O, that are willing to show how great, trust me when I say this place will be electric on June 27th. It'll be a massive fight. Whoever wins comes out as a superstar. Whoever loses comes out as a big star.
Can you give me your random thoughts on? Sorry, go ahead.
You know, they had the Puerto Rico thing. Xander said, "How do we end up in Brooklyn as opposed to MSG, where we used to see in Matchroom, we're used to seeing Top Rank? How do we go from Puerto Rico and end up at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York?"
Well, firstly, I think there's a lot of Puerto Ricans in Brooklyn. MSG wasn't available on any date in June, so you know, and I like this place. I mean, don't forget, this place has staged some massive fights over the years. It's always a good crowd. Even when I came here for Dalton Smith against Super Real Matias, I mean, it was, you know, it was quite a small show, but there was still, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000, and it was wild. Do you know what I mean? You imagine the whole place is full up, which it will be. So, yeah, look, I love MSG, I love Barclays Center, and I'm just pleased to be in New York because I think that's the right place. You're going to get a huge amount of Puerto Ricans coming to this fight. You're also going to get a huge amount traveling from Philadelphia, thousands upon thousands, and I think that would be great for the travel.
Boxing journalist Mike Coppinger analyzed the situation from a business perspective, calling it a brilliant move by Zayas. By taking on such a dangerous opponent, he has already elevated his status in the sport. Regardless of the outcome, Zayas stands to gain significantly. A victory would make him a superstar overnight, while even a loss could increase his market value due to the courage he has shown. In many ways, simply stepping into this fight has already paid off.
Man, you know, he's a 2-division champion right now, and for him to choose the toughest guy on paper right now, I mean, skill-wise, Boots, it's crazy. You know, it's crazy. He could have went a different route, but he chose the best guy.
By the way, when we talk about the difference between championship and belt, you can win belts in different divisions, right? But Boots was the Ring Magazine welterweight champion of the world. Right now, I don't love the way he got it because Stanionis hadn't fought in a million years. It's his only real significant welterweight win, really, of a guy who's in the top 10, and that guy was really inactive. But he dominated that fight, Mike.
Yes,
dominated.
Yeah, I think Boots looks special in that fight, and there's a reason why there's so much hype around Boots. He's an incredible athlete, he has a great jab, he can box, he's in good fights, he has power. But Xander Zayas at 23 is definitely an improving fighter, and like you said, Gabe, he's an economic engine, right? He could be fighting in Puerto Rico, he just sold out in January, he could fight in New York, he's gonna probably have the bigger fan support here. And I think this is a great business move for Xander too. He's gonna get a career high payday, and like you said, 190 he walks around at. He hasn't had much more time.
As fight night approaches, everything comes down to what happens when the bell rings. Sean Porter captured the essence of the matchup perfectly. He described Ennis as pure electricity, a fighter capable of ending a fight in an instant. But he also pointed out that Zayas has the discipline and technical ability to neutralize the danger, potentially grounding that explosive power.
By the way, I think Boots is gonna put it together. I think Boots is gonna be a top 5 pound for pound guy. I think he's gonna beat Xander Zayas. Well, since we're on the topic, my early pick is Boots.
He said shit.
116, 111. I think it's gonna be a competitive fight. I do think that speed and power and creativity of Jaron Ennis at some point will overwhelm Xander Zayas enough to get a knockdown, but I don't see him knocking out Xander Zayas. I think Zayas is gonna make it a very good fight and show why he is who he is as a unified champ, the youngest in the game at 23. But yeah, Boots is a phenomenal talent. I just think the people, the reasonable skeptics are just saying, yeah, but it's got to produce something. You're almost 30 years old. You're a year away from 30, and your best win, respectfully, is Montes Stanionis, who's a good fighter, and you did unify. You did become ring champ, technically the lineal champ at welterweight, but yeah, I think his talent is better than Errol Spence at this age, but he doesn't have the accomplishments Spence had at that age. But I think Ennis is a better talent, you know.
I agree with that 100%.
This fight represents a true crossroads for the division. On one side is a young, physically imposing, highly skilled fighter looking to prove he belongs at the very top. On the other is one of the most feared and avoided fighters in boxing, determined to maintain his dominance. The big question remains, can Xander Zayas pull off a historic upset and change the narrative of the sport, or will Jaron Ennis remind everyone why he has been avoided for so long?